Welcome to another episode of Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan and Friends. Here's your host, Russ McClellan.
Hey, how's everybody doing in the post-transitional land of COVID? I'm Russ McClellan. This is Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan and Friends. And today I have one of my great friends, colleagues, and now partners in crime, Sarah Lopeman, because she's now our new productivity coach. How you doing, Sarah?
I am fabulous. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you.
I'm still trying to get used to you saying that.
Great. Thank you.
Great. No.
I'm polite.
Let's go back 30 seconds. Productivity coach.
I know, right? Like, you know what's magical about Keller Williams? Not only the superficial stuff that everybody kind of, the coin phrase is like, we're the largest real estate company on planet Earth. We are.
This
right?
is true.
Almost 180,000 agents and climbing. We sell more real estate. We have more people in 57 countries and climbing. All of that is great. But you know what really matters to us in Wenatchee, North Central Washington, Leavenworth, Lake Chelan, Quincy, Ellensburg, Moses Lake, Brewster, Pateros, Orondo, you name it, and I've left some people out. Our area is a big area geographically, but being hyper-local focused with the intentional behavior to help other people. And that's why I'm excited to have you on the show more than anything. You know, we've become great friends. And that's one of the beautiful things about a familial connection. And frankly, to be honest, to me, one of the things that was more difficult than anything else in the, taking the health concerns out of the equation, but in the land of COVID on Zoom, the camaraderie was hard to do.
Yes.
And I can tell you, I didn't realize, if you would have asked me a year and a half ago after, almost 30 plus years in business, how important is an office? Right? Do you remember when people were talking like, it's not important? There's a lot of online companies, I won't name them, but it seems like it reminds me of the .com game where, here's how you go to the bathroom.com. I'll have 50 million invested, right?
Sure.
So it'll pump and dump. There's a lot of companies out there like that and online. And they kind of got a leg up in COVID because everybody got into that space.
Sure.
Right. So how do you feel? Because I feel like I wouldn't have thought about the colleagues that we work with and what isolationism does to people versus coming to an office and interacting with training and synergy and, whatever.
Right. Well, I'm always going to be the person that wants to shake your hand and give you a hug and see your smile face to face. But I think what was interesting to me to kind of see how everything evolved is even people who would prefer to stay home and prefer to do Zoom meetings. It seemed like the first half of COVID, it was exciting. But even those same people, the second half of COVID kind of went, okay, I didn't say I never wanted to see you.
Right.
So you could definitely, second half, I think there was just a heaviness of it, for everybody. And we all know someone that has really struggled through this time. So not being able to see each other in the office is, first world problem, so to speak, right?
Yeah,
Not that big of a deal, but I think just all the way around it, I'm so happy where we are and where we're going, from this point forward.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And whether it was children struggling with isolationism, not having school sports and clubs and churches not having their congregation available. It's just the whole thing was a weird experiment. And it wasn't like as leaders, we could just go to mentors and go, hey, the last time you had a world pandemic, what'd you do?
Right.
I think that was 1918 or something, right?
Right.
Yeah, so the whole thing is a strange experiment. And I'm really grateful for almost every piece of adversity that's ever hit me, because that seems to be where, at least the way my brain works, I got to get knocked upside the head a couple times to learn.
Sure.
And when I look back at that, I really have an appreciation for working in the office. I'm now back in the office working, training, coaching, teaching, and inspiring people. And the fact that you've accepted the role as productivity coach with your integrity and enthusiasm, which is unmatched, honestly, just about by anybody I've ever met. You have this gift of selflessness, and you have this gift of the coaching mindset. And now that Keller Williams has a platform for that, has a system for that, and we're going to start doing that. We haven't done this yet. right? We've got to number one in agent count and I think number 2 or 3 in volume overall in less than 3 years without a productivity coaching program.
Right.
Doesn't mean
Imagine what's to come.
Right. Doesn't mean we weren't coaching. I mean, we were all kind of coaching in different ways, but the beautiful thing about Keller Williams is it's a systems and models company. And one of the most successful people in Keller Williams, I mean, we're talking mega successful. He likes to say success is boring. And for me, it's probably when I look back at my career, 3 decades worth, I was finally getting pretty exhausted at reinventing the wheel every day. Mm-hmm. Waking up, what am I going to do today?
Sure.
How am I going to go get new business today? So Keller Williams was the company that attracted me 3 years ago when I started working in this program of getting into a franchise and getting into a system and getting that leverage. So with you at the helm, I'm just excited because not only are you walking the walk, you become a very successful agent, but I think you're super inspirational to everybody that meets you. And I'm really excited about all the people that don't know you, right, in this new role. And I thought maybe, during these 3 segments, we could just kind of talk about your story. Because I think as people sit there in this transitional period out of COVID, and for the first time in maybe a year and a half, people are going to have to start paying rent again.
Yeah.
People are going to have to start paying a mortgage again.
Right.
And if you've done anything for a year and a half, right, and you have to change, it's scary. And this is going to be a hard stop for a lot of people, meaning today you start paying. So whatever lifestyle you've created for a year and a half without that payment, and, oh, by the way, you got government money.
Right.
So it's going to be, although not strange in the historical perspective, as people usually have to pay rent to live somewhere.
Sure.
That's not weird. But what is weird is a year and a half's a long time, and that's enough time to develop a different life.
It is.
And so I think there's people out there right now whether their job is not exactly what they're hoping for.
Right.
Or maybe they're wondering, how can they make more money so I can get my kids AAU basketball shoes? Mm-hmm. Or maybe I'm a rock star at what I'm doing, and it makes me a ton of money, but I'm just not digging it. I'm ready for a change, and I want more flexibility, or I want more time back so I can spend more quality time with my family, and I think I can do real estate. So maybe we could just kind of dive in from the beginning, like go back in time 3 years and tell people your story so they can maybe relate to it and be inspired by it, if you don't mind.
Not at all. It was within a matter of maybe 24 hours of me thinking, so take a few steps back, even further than that. Been wanting to get into real estate for many years. Raising 3 extremely busy kids. My mindset then, which I really wish I could go back in time and change that. But my mindset then was there's no way that I have time to do my schooling and to get into real estate. And bartending and serving tables, like my mindset was I had more flexibility of time then to be able to spend with my kids, go to their games, support them how I could. And real estate, there's just no way that I thought real estate would support that. And what I know now would do anything to go back and change that, but it is what it is at this point. So my oldest had moved out. My middle was about a year away from moving out, and so my kids are self-sufficient at this point. And studied, got my real estate license, interviewed several different companies, fell in love with the KW model because it's just absolutely amazing. We were talking about this the other day. I put a lot of thought into where I wanted to be and where I wanted to hang my license because I wanted it to be where I was forever. So joined here before we were even Keller Williams. Fell in love with the office and everything else that it stands for. And it's been awesome to be here from the beginning and to, with anything, you start it from the ground up, you're going to have a couple bumps in the road and you're going to surpass it and you're going to be better because of it. And I've been able to do that myself, but I've also been able to be with the office along the way as they've done that as well.
Yeah. So you can empathize with people for sure that are sitting here listening to you talk. What was it that finally got you to get over the fear? Because would you say that fear in one way or another was the reason why you weren't already jumped in. Like,
oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. And it took boredom for me to go, okay, this is not fun. Life is not fun right now. What do we need to do to move forward? It was like, usually anything that you look at that excites you, the fear comes along with that. And so I was ready to overcome the fear for the excitement, I think is the best way to describe that.
Yeah, and it's sometimes a scary, dark place right before you make that change. It's almost like hitting bottom. It's almost like you get to a point where you recognize we're not immortal.
Right.
And the minutes, the sand keeps coming out of that hourglass going, a day goes by, a week goes by, a year goes by.
Right.
Here I am. And frankly, I've seen so many people that get a little older, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s even, and they want to make a change, and they're like, well, it's too late.
Oh my gosh, I thought that too. I'm 35. What am I doing? I can't do that. And then you start, you get inspired by people who've already done it, really.
Getting tired of being tired, and then that fear becomes fuel. And all of a sudden realizing that you're no different than anybody else. We all fail our way forward in life, right? That's the beautiful thing about the unknown. It's exciting, and sometimes it sucks. But the other challenge, and we'll get into it in the next segment as we wrap this first segment up, it's really authentic, right? Like, your story is so authentic, and that's what Keller Williams is all about. It's not hype. It's about the real change. And now that we're coming out of COVID, we're going to make this thing happen like you've never seen before.
I'm excited.
All right, when we come back in the second segment, talking with Sarah Lopeman, Keller Williams, productivity coach.
Keller Williams, you make dreams come true. Home sweet home, home sweet home, your home sweet home.
Hey, this is Russ, McClellan, operating partner and designated broker of Keller Williams Realty, North Central Washington. Hey, I'm excited to say we are growing at an unprecedented rate. We're almost 70 real estate brokers and popping about 3 deals a day in some cases. It's really pretty fun. And the reason I wanted to do an ad today was about our people. The culture of Keller Williams is really simple this. We believe in an abundant mindset, not a scarcity mindset. What does that mean? Well, although we're competitive, we all go out and try to get some similar listings. And with almost 70 people, you might think that that's a problem. But in reality, with an abundant mindset, we know that for us to win, you don't have to lose. With our creative marketing that is unbelievable, with our operating system Command, we're reaching literally hundreds of thousands of people instantly. So if you're interested in selling or buying with one of our agents, trust me, you won't be disappointed. Give us a call at our office, 509-888-0038, or email me direct at russ@frontlinechelan.com. Hey, this is Russ McClellan with Keller Williams. I want to talk to you about something. Do you feel stuck? Do you feel the financial pressures of the COVID virus? That was fun, wasn't it? I'll tell you what, real estate can be a game changer for you, and I'm here to help you. If you want to give me a call at 509-888-0038, I want to talk about your life and getting unstuck. We are growing rapidly. We're the fastest growing real estate company in all of North Central Washington. Give us a call. I want to help you. 509-888-0038.
You're listening to Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan and friends. And here's Russ.
Hey, welcome back to Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan and friends and the house of Keller Williams that Sarah helped build.
Group effort.
Group effort. Sarah is an original gangster. She came on board, single mom, 3 kids, server, bartender, and you said in the last segment you were just kind of bored and burnt out a little bit and looking for a change and liked real estate. So what we're trying to do today is talk to you, the listener, that is sitting there for whatever reason, not 100% satisfied in what you're doing for a living. So try to imagine helping people for a living. One of the things that is always difficult to do is make changes, to create new habits. We've been programmed to think automatically without purposeful thinking and intention. Usually our brain's on autopilot most of the time since we were a little kid. So when we tell our brain, hey, brain, I want to do something else, you've got a lot of years of programming that says, no, don't put your hand in there. It might get burned. Don't do this, don't do that. And then you have these things called friends and family that love you and care about you, and they truly do. But they tell you not to take a chance. You might get hurt. Think about it. They say, whoever they is, they say when you're 0 to 4 years old, you operate at the level of a genius. And then things start to change. I'm convinced that that's because we say color in the lines. Get in line. Walk here, don't walk there, don't go there, do this, do that. We start getting told what to do, and we start conforming. And the next thing you know, we're a bunch of conformists, right? We're a herd creature, we're herd mentality, which is one of the reasons I think because of our human nature, getting back together after 18 months of Zoom land is feeling so inspiring. Well, if you're feeling any of those things, I want to tell you from the bottom of my heart, we have the productivity coach that's going to change your life. Her name is Sarah Lopman. She's an original gangster, like I said, and she is also a high-producing real estate agent and has been with me from day one. So, Sarah, tell me why productivity coaching, that position, why you're so enthusiastic about that opportunity.
I love that I get to wake up every morning and know that there is someone that I get to help, someone that I get to speak to, someone's hand that I can hold along the way, somebody that I can share a story with, someone that I can conquer fears with that day, and then go to bed and wake up and do it again the next day.
Yeah.
I mean, that's exciting.
Yeah, and you've seen what Keller Williams can do for people. And you said it earlier, startup companies, even companies as large as this, were individually owned and operated, right?
Right.
And I'm the first one to tell you that I am failing my way forward as the operating partner and the designated broker and investor of this company. I am failing my way forward. I think it's kind of hilarious to me because I always had a small crew in my career, 7, 8, 10 people, special forces unit of real estate. I'm leading the charge on horseback with a sword and a shield, just daily, day and grinding. And now we're at almost 80 agents and climbing. And it's taken me some time to figure out how to do that, how to delegate, how to follow a system and not reinvent the wheel every day with just pure inspiration and motivation in the trenches. So now you got to scale, and to scale you need a system. And so I am so excited that you've accepted the role, because when we surround ourselves collectively with energetic, optimistic people that are not so into armchair quarterbacking and pointing out our mistakes, but are into exciting opportunities to improve.
Sure.
It's a mindset, right?
Absolutely.
There's the people that bitch, and then there's the people that, have a problem for every solution. And then there's the people that go, hey, you know what? We did it that way, but we fell on our face, so let's go do it this way.
Right.
I say the difference between people that sit there and think about, I can't do something or launch something until I have all my ducks in a row because I don't want to look unorganized. I think they are frozen through analysis. Sometimes you got to kick in the door, right? Sometimes you just got to go, I'm taking it, and I'm going to make mistakes and get punched in the face, and I'm going to go forward anyway. And I love that you're open-minded to that, as raw passion.
Right.
But then following systems. Like now it's time 3 years later, probably took most people 3 months, took me 3 years to learn how to embrace that and how to handle things. And that's the one thing that about our company. I'm committed to improvement. And I'm just pumped that you're involved in this at a leadership level now, because we have we've made some personnel changes, but we have, sometimes what got you to where you're at is not what's going to get you to where you need to be.
Of course.
And that's what this is all about. These adjustments that we're making in personnel, this adjustment we're making in psychology and our intention, and leaning into different resources that we're going to help you help other people. I'm thrilled about it. So I sent you a picture not long ago that was from the past, and you responded and you said, that was my first listing.
It was. That was so crazy. You
Yeah.
sent that to me, and I went, oh, that was a lifetime ago.
Yeah,
It
right?
was just a few years ago.
So talk to people that maybe don't understand, right? We understand, but they don't understand. So how would you describe it to them how your life has changed, how you see the world maybe a little differently than you did, to help them, understand what you've done?
Well, like you said, you don't know what you don't know. and so, I mean, every day is new. I remember hearing multiple times in my first few months or first year of real estate, everyone would say there's not one deal that is going to be the exact same as the next. And I thought, okay, you've done how many hundreds of deals? Like, that just doesn't make any sense to me. And it is truly every single day in real estate is something different. Sometimes there's some bumps that you got to overcome, and sometimes you're just on cloud nine and are just couldn't be more excited, for the next day. So it, like with anything in life, I think, but I think that's what is probably the most exciting thing to me, and what keeps me in love with selling real estate and being involved with real estate, is that every day truly is different.
Yeah, and the real estate game itself keeps changing.
Right.
Think about a year ago. We're down 75% in inventory from this year, 1 year ago. I remember,
this is a fun time to be in real estate.
Yeah, and it's hard when you lead a bunch of people, right? Because I can remember about a year ago, I was running a sales rally. You might remember this, and I was kind of harsh. And I didn't mean to be harsh, but that was the reports that I got back, that people were feeling like I was being a little intense. And all I was really saying from my heart was, look, I see this market dwindling, like we're fishing out of a stocked pond. People have unlocked the ability to move anywhere. They can make the same amount of money now that they used to have to live in the city to make. Mm-hmm. Guess what? They want to live where it's nice.
Right.
Less traffic, less homelessness, less taxation, less riots at the time, right?
More sunshine.
More sunshine, lakes, rivers, mountains, clean air, clean water. And all of a sudden, so it's not like complete rocket science. You're going to have a lot more people that feel like they can now move here. And at the same time, we have the lowest interest rates in history. So in that sales rally, I remember telling people, sometimes if you do what you've always done, you won't get what you've always gotten, because the market is shifting. Mm-hmm. And shifting markets, I mean, that's why Gary Keller wrote the book called Shift. Right. And that's going to be, and that's in your program, that's what one of the things you study. And it's kind of cool, because when you're with a group of people that are collectively working together, you can really find answers to problems that if you were on your own would be really challenging, because a lot of the stuff is brand new. But together, you combine forces, you combine wisdom, and then we, and as a leadership team, can help our people. So to me, every challenge creates this massive opportunity, because everybody else is dealing with the same challenge, right?
Right.
And to get your unfair share of the market really comes down to the basics. And that's why success is boring.
Sure.
Right? Because it's like,
that is true.
It's funny. It's a really funny business. If you motivate yourself with your big why, like, maybe not for everybody, for most of us, I think if I said, hey, I want to make $5,000 a month, or I want to make $10,000 a month, money alone is nice. Nobody's allergic to money. But if money is the only motivator, when those days that you don't want to get up, maybe you had a few too many glasses of wine at the winery, maybe you're out on the boat, you kind of had a lot of sun, the next day you don't want to go, and you're like, oh, I know that family wants me to help them find a home, but I'm tired. And so if money is your only motivator, maybe it's not a big enough why. But if you think about their 3-year-old daughter, and you think about the dream that they have to be a homeowner, and you think, you know what, I'm going to help this many people this month, and it starts with right here, then you get your butt out of bed and you go help them.
Absolutely.
Right? Because that to me, that big why is much more inspiring. And how many careers have unlimited potential with a very, very, like 90 hours to get into it, the business, right? To get a license, and a very, like $1,000 or less. You're in a business that has unlimited financial potential, unlimited ability to save time and be flexible, and help people at the same time.
There isn't any. And that's the fascinating thing about real estate, is you can get into real estate and literally go any direction that you want with it.
Yeah, and that's the power of Keller Williams. It's like, what direction do you want to go? Okay, I got 180,000 people that I can lean into.
Right.
Now, let me ask you this, in all honesty, have you ever asked a Keller Williams agent, maybe online, emails, at different conferences for something, and they said, what are you asking me for? I don't work for you.
No.
That's not the culture, is it?
No. We might have an issue.
Yeah. It just doesn't happen. Like I was on a call yesterday where, while the person was teaching from Austin, Texas, I was Facebook messaging the broker who has been doing some things at a very high level. And I said, hey, I'd like you to come on my sales rally on Zoom in Wenatchee, Washington. And she goes, oh, what? And I said, Wenatchee, Washington. That's where our market center is, but it's on Zoom. Can you help us out? Sure. I go,
Right.
what? Would you mind being on the radio show with me? Sure. And this person's at a high level. While she's teaching the class, I'm doing this simultaneously. And I'm just like, how many companies are like that?
None.
And it's for free. She'll do it for free.
Yeah.
Just help. When we come back on the third segment, we're going to wrap up Sarah Lopeman and talk a little bit more about her productivity coaching program. But I'm thrilled. I'm excited. We'll see you right back here in a couple seconds.
Keller Williams, you make dreams come true. Home sweet home, home sweet home.
Hey, this is Russ, McClellan, operating partner and designated broker of Keller Williams Realty, North Central Washington. Hey, I'm excited to say we are growing at an unprecedented rate. We're almost 70 real estate brokers and popping about 3 deals a day in some cases. It's really pretty fun. And the reason I wanted to do an ad today was about our people. The culture of Keller Williams is really simple this. We believe in an abundant mindset, not a scarcity mindset. What does that mean? Well, although we're competitive, we all go out and try to get some similar listings. And with almost 70 people, you might think that that's a problem. But in reality, with an abundant mindset, we know that for us to win, you don't have to lose. With our creative marketing that is unbelievable, with our operating system Command, we're reaching literally hundreds of thousands of people instantly. So if you're interested in selling or buying with one of our agents, trust me, you won't be disappointed. Give us a call at our office, 509-888-0038, or email me direct at russ@frontlinechelan.com. Hi, this is Russ McClellan, designated broker and operating partner of Keller Williams Realty NCW. You know, we have almost 70 agents and growing rapidly. We're almost a legit company now with over 2.5 years experience. The good news is this: if you're thinking about changing your life, my goal and my mission to you is to help you transform the life that you deserve and that you want, using real estate as the vehicle to do that. What does that mean? Well, it means whatever you want it to mean. If you want to work part-time, I'll show you how to do it. If you want to work full-time, I'll show you how to do it. And I'm also willing to show and demonstrate our commitment to you and our conviction to our company and transparency by giving you any of the numbers of any of the 70 people that work at Keller Williams. We're a family, we care about each other, and we care about you. So if you want to change your life, you want to get into real estate and have some fun, let's get together and talk. 509-888-0038. Give me a call anytime. You can also call my cell phone at 509-470-2416.
You're tuned to Russ McClellan and Friends on the Real Estate Show Home Sweet Home. Let's get back to Russ.
Hey, welcome back to Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan and Friends. I am just excited. Can you tell? Sarah Lopeman,
Yes.
let's get real.
Okay. We're getting serious.
Yep. I want to know how you would explain to someone the basic steps to get into real estate, or at least to have a conversation, maybe even a confidential, correct?
Oh, absolutely.
Conversation with you about getting into real estate.
Conversation is going to be more important than anything. And I think that was when I got into it, just knowing, like I was telling you earlier, it took a little bit to muster the courage to even make the phone call, you know. With that being said, I would say that a phone call is probably your first step, and it can be a phone call. It could be a text saying interested and, you know, just whatever it would take. If you know, are thinking about it at all, it really just is breaking it down. But, you know, more importantly, the first step is just a phone call.
Yeah, and I want people to realize this, that I know that what you're feeling is real, if you're listening to this, and what you're feeling is normal.
Absolutely.
You know, one of the things that's interesting about people, it's kind of a weird thing. We often don't worry about what we think of ourselves. That's not what gets to us. Or we don't really worry so much about what other people think about us. What gets to us is we worry about what other people worry about thinking about us. It's this hypothetical world of, what if I do this, then they might think that. And then I become frozen in fear.
Yeah.
And then I deflect that fear because I don't want people to know that I'm afraid. So I'll say things like, I don't have time.
Sure.
I don't have the money. I can't be 100% commission. I got bills to pay. So tell me if there's a way at Keller Williams to transition out of a job and into a career that you love.
Well, I mean, knowledge is power, right? So if you're thinking about doing anything in life and all you know is what you don't know, I mean, that's going to be a little difficult to be positive about that, or to actually be able to know, the facts of what it would look like and what it could provide in your life. That's why I say I think the most important thing is the first step, and that's a phone call just to ask the questions that you need to ask and, express any concerns. And I think for a lot of people, there's a lot of myths about doing anything in life, really, but, especially something that seems scary at first. And I know I would, be able to debunk a lot of things that people might be scared of.
Yeah, there is a lot of real estate myths. The best one I loved is that you had to pay us $25,000 to enter the building. That was the best
You've
one.
heard that?
I was like, yeah. I was like,
Yeah.
man, I wish that was true. 80 agents? It's pretty good.
I didn't hear that one.
No, it doesn't. That's not what you want to do. But yeah, I'm going to give, how about you give your phone number to people?
509-264-2557.
Yeah, Sarah Lopman, 509-264-2557. Text her one word, interested. That's the magic word. Open sesame.
Yes.
Nope, interested. Not open sesame. Interested. So-
I'll understand if I get an open sesame, though.
Yeah, you know what's interesting? We were talking a little bit off air, but people often fall into this trap of talking themselves out of something before they've had an opportunity to prove to themselves that they can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's a tryout for a team or a band or
Yeah.
a club or just, learning a new hobby. And this negative talk, this negative self-talk, it's important to know that it's natural and it's normal.
Mm-hmm.
The programming is there. I mean, how many kindergarten classes do you know teachers that say, here's your color crayons in your picture. Now, do not color in the lines.
Right.
How many kindergarten teachers do that? I had to get held back in kindergarten, for gosh sakes, because I was the kid that never colored in the lines, and I got made fun of. And I'm like, well, I don't get it. It's not any fun to color in the lines. But I was lucky, right? I had a dad that was like, he's good at coloring outside the lines, so let the kid do it, right? He's a little off, but that's fine. He's my kid. And so I had that support. So what I'm saying is when you have that self-talk, remember that there's a word. It's called affirmations. And affirmations might seem silly. But man, Fletcher Ellingson told me this. He said, your brain, when you speak the spoken word out loud, your brain instantly fires the chemicals to support and find the evidence of what you just said is true. Mm-hmm. So if you say, I'm not worthy, I'm ugly, I'm slow, I'm fast, whatever, I'm negative, your brain's going to go, okay, well, I don't care if that statement's true or false, but I'm going to go find the evidence to prove it.
Yeah.
That's why, even if it's semantics and you literally don't believe it, I challenge you to do this as a friend. It's called an accountability mirror. Write something on your mirror in the bathroom when you're getting ready, brushing your teeth, so it's triggered by some activity, and write something positive that you say out loud, like I am worthy.
I do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Look at you.
It is crazy how literally you can have one word that you look at every morning.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's your chemicals, the dopamine, the serotonin, it's instincts, that fire in your body. So if you say I'm worthy, I'm capable, and I'm resourceful, over a period of time, you will start to feel better.
Yeah.
Even if you don't believe it, do it anyway. And sometimes that's what coaching's all about, right? Because I believe anybody can sell real estate.
Sure.
Do you?
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, I've seen it. I've seen people that had like complete low self-esteem and low self-confidence, turn it all around. They mustered, it took
all the courage in the world. Like you said, it took you a long time to make that first phone call. But I want you to know with Sarah Lopman, it's not going to be a bad conversation.
I promise it will not.
No.
We might even have fun.
Yeah. And, my new motto is to hell with COVID. Let's have some fun again at Keller Williams.
Oh, absolutely.
Not taking anything away from that program, the health problems. And a lot of people have had a lot of challenges because of it. But it's time to put it to bed. And it's time to get back to living and high-fiving and hugging and helping people and interacting. And I promise you this at Keller Williams, we're majoring and investing in fun. I mean, every week I'm investing in stuff to do that's fun. Every week you can have a lunch and learn with me. You want somebody to buy you lunch, show up at our office. Wednesday at high noon, you got to be there 15 minutes early because that's on time. Because at noon, we're going to be talking real estate and then getting to know each other. And you get a free lunch out of the deal.
You do.
And you can even have a cocktail. I don't care. I'm not that rule guy. I'm a rule breaker, not a maker, right?
Right.
This is fun. We're going to go do movie things. We're going to do poker things. We're going to do float the river things. We're going to go fishing things. I mean, I don't know what we're going to do. That's the beautiful thing about me.
I think I've almost got you talked into the pontoon boat.
Pontoon boat's a good deal. You see how hard it is? You say something, I say okay. And at Keller Williams, I believe life's too short to be too serious, but we know what we're doing. We're closing like 50 deals a month. And you can be a part of that. And if you have a full-time job that you like, that's great. If you want to do a side hustle in real estate and just become a referring agent, that's great. Listen about, think about this. If you're in Chelan, Leavenworth, Wenatchee, anywhere where there's people, and you had a real estate license, real estate is always a hot topic. And this is being a server for as long as you were and bartender.
Absolutely.
Just think about that, Sarah. If you had a license for 15 years before you actually got into real estate, if you were just going to say, I know Russ in real estate or I know XYZ person in real estate, and you got a 25% referral for simply connecting the dots, which you have to have a license to do, but you weren't going to show anybody anything, would have it worked?
We're supposed to keep this conversation positive. Okay, we're not.
Not looking back. Failing forward every day.
How cool would that be?
Yeah. Well, think about this. We profit share at a pretty high level, up to 49% monthly. And if I'd been in Keller Williams for 25 years, what would that look like? So I'm not looking backwards.
Right.
And I've had some highs and I've had some lows and I'll have some more highs and I'll have some more lows. But what we won't be is boring. And judgmental behavior that seems to be running rampant, where everybody's a critic and nobody's in the arena, is a thing, right? I mean, that's one beautiful thing about social media. You can just say whatever the heck you want and nobody can call you on it. All right, well, we don't do that around here. If that's the game plan, if that's how you feel, this probably isn't the place for you. We're going to encourage you. We're going to help you. We're going to help each other. And Sarah Lopman's energy and enthusiasm is going to lead the charge as the productivity coach and a high-level producing agent. So the sky's the limit. And all you have to do is start by making that one phone call to Sarah Lopman to change your life if you're interested. And that is 509-264-2557. They say, and I said it a lot, tough times don't last, but tough people do. And I'm super proud of everybody at Keller Williams that has put us, where we're at today, and I'm committed every single day to helping improve this company one person's life at a time. And I believe you're in on that concept. Are you not?
It's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's get real. Let's have a conversation. Let's have some fun. Let's change some things. Let's get you, if you're stuck, let's get you unstuck. Thanks for tuning in to Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan and Sarah Lopman. Hope everybody has a great day. We'll be right back with Michael Maher and Prime Lending to see what the heck's going on in the land of mortgages.
Keller Williams, you make dreams come true.
Hey, this is Russ McClellan, operating partner and designated broker of Keller Williams Realty, North Central Washington. Hey, I'm excited to say we are growing at an unprecedented rate. We're almost 70 real estate brokers and popping about 3 deals a day in some cases. It's really pretty fun. And the reason I wanted to do an ad today was about our people. The culture of Keller Williams is really simple this. We believe in an abundant mindset, not a scarcity mindset. What does that mean? Well, although we're competitive, we all go out and try to get some similar listings. And with almost 70 people, you might think that that's a problem. But in reality, with an abundant mindset, we know that for us to win, you don't have to lose. With our creative marketing that is unbelievable, with our operating system Command, we're reaching literally hundreds of thousands of people instantly. So if you're interested in selling or buying with one of our agents, trust me, you won't be disappointed. Give us a call at our office, 509-888-0038, or email me direct at russ@frontlinechelan.com. Hey, this is Russ McClellan with Keller Williams. I want to talk to you about something. Do you feel stuck? Do you feel the financial pressures of the COVID virus? That was fun, wasn't it? I'll tell you what, real estate can be a game changer for you, and I'm here to help you. If you want to give me a call at 509-888-0038, I want to talk about your life and getting unstuck. We are growing rapidly. We're the fastest growing real estate company in all of North Central Washington. Give us a call. I want to help you. 509-888-0038.
You're listening to Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan and Friends. And here's Russ.
Hey, welcome back to Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan. I now have the infamous Michael Maher with Prime Lending on the line. How you doing, Michael?
Good. Happy to be here. Excited to go over some exciting stuff and just see if we can help some people out.
Yeah, a couple things I wanted to dive into. As we know in the real estate business, and I think more and more people are realizing, we're down in inventory quite a bit from a year ago. And when that happens, and when I say down, I think I looked the other day, or a couple weeks ago, I guess it was, we had something like 114 listings in the Flex MLS, which is primarily Leavenworth, Wenatchee. And that was a year ago. And we had 30 last month. So we're down about 75% in inventory, which is creating obviously pressure on price. So we've seen some unprecedented appreciation. And I personally have worked with you on a couple transactions for our brokers, and including a deal we're working on for my son. And so I thought we could just kind of dive into how important it is to have a team and how important it is to be creative and maybe think about things outside the box that are perfectly legal, perfectly ethical, but not everybody in the masses looks at the world the same way, right? So
Yeah,
if it's okay with you, why don't we dive into what it means to be a team player as a mortgage company from your perspective?
Yeah, absolutely. So most important thing is we look at every transaction in abundance. There's enough deals for everyone to go around. We like to carve our little piece out and really let people know that we like to think outside the box. And if you give us a chance, we think you'll be very happy in what we can do for you and some creative things we can come up. And in the case with your son, we can go into that a little bit. As far as there was a property that was listed and it had been on the market for how long was it?
Yeah, it's been on the property on and off for, a couple different real estate brokers in the past. And the reason was that it was a beautiful piece of property, but the home was 90 plus years old. And for a 90-year-old home, it's actually doing pretty good. But there have been a couple of code changes in 90 years, believe it or not.
Just a couple.
Yeah, so it was a very difficult home to finance in a traditional method. So what I love about your ability is in the seller, the buyer, in this case, we sat down and we said, okay, well, here's our challenge. We had an inspection done. We looked at the house and we're like, oh boy, there's no heating source. That's a problem. There's this, there's that, there's this, there's that. All these things add up to some money, but the property was really nice and the home had some good bones. However, we didn't really know for sure until we got the appraisal what actually needed to be done to actually make the home financeable. So right. we actually used your conventional rehab or enhancement loan, we like to call it, and we basically said buyer and seller agree that this is the price today, and this is what I did in this deal. This is the price today, and this is the loan type that Mason's going to get, which means with your rehab loan, maybe you could just quickly, for those that haven't heard about it, I know we talk about it a lot, but I always know there's people that are new listeners. So could you just kind of briefly explain what that is?
Yeah, basically, in layman's terms, it's just you finance a property, you pay X number of dollars for it, and then you get a bid from a licensed and bonded contractor for whatever work you need to be done, whether that's putting in a new septic system, putting a new roof on it. There's really nothing you can't do. Then you take that bid and you finance it on top of the price, and you have your new acquisition cost, your new total price, you would say. And then you're not having to come in with that money out of pocket. You can still do 3.5%, 5% down on some of these loans. So it's minimum down, and it allows you to hold on to the cash that you do have, or if you don't have the cash, to take advantage of the bank's money and super cheap interest rates right now and get the work done and pretty much gain instant equity, as because the appraiser is going to turn around and give an appraiser or give an appraisal report as if the work has already been done, and give value to that home as if it's already been done. So it's a very unique program that gives people opportunity to get the work done after closing without having to foot the bill.
Yeah, and what this particular house, because we don't know for sure what needs to be done, right? Because there is some subjectivity in the decision-making process from the appraisal. And so what I did to be creative on the deal writing is I said, all right, Mr. Buyer, Mr. Seller, once we know exactly what has to be done, we'll both have to agree that the price that we chose is the right price. For example, if the work comes back much, because we have an assumption, we think we know, but let's say instead of $50,000 in improvements, it's $100,000 in improvement. Well, then the buyer would have the opportunity to say, okay, I don't want to do that unless you change the price. Conversely, and simultaneously, let's say it comes back and instead of the estimated $50,000 in this example, it's only $20,000 in improvements. Well, then the seller has the right, the unilateral right to say, unless we change the price, adding 30 grand to the price tag at that time, once we know for sure what the work needs to be done to qualify the house. Because that's the thing, the buyer needs to qualify, but so does the house in order to conform to a conventional loan program or any loan program. Well, in this example, both buyer and seller will have an opportunity through creative deal structuring and creative financing to reevaluate their position. And there's no hard feelings if either one of them say, well, this isn't going to work for me. So we basically have an opportunity to renegotiate the price based on the exact work that needs to be done that's called out in inspections. So to me, that's an additional step of creativity. And again, when you're down 75% in inventory, I'm encouraging people to get real creative right now. Because if you're following the rules and you're not thinking a little bit outside the box, you're probably going to pay a premium because we've been appreciating at an unprecedented rate.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I don't know. The other thing I think that you guys do as a team is wonderful is that if you think about how many people are in real estate, not everybody is created equal. Not everybody has the same level of experience, coaching, mentorship, etc. And you're willing to help explain as a lender to the other side of the equation. Like if we're representing a buyer and you're working for the buyer, you're willing, isn't it true? You're willing, because you do it for us all the time, call the other agent and explain the situation, whether it's this loan we just talked about or the qualifications of the buyer as you see it, et cetera. Is that correct?
Absolutely. And in an ever-changing industry that we are in, where on a daily, weekly basis, guidelines for mortgages are constantly changing. So what you think you knew yesterday all of a sudden changes tomorrow, and now everything is completely different than what it used to be. So by giving a call or an email or just contacting whatever agents involved and letting them know the specifics of the loan, how well qualified the buyers are, what the program actually means, what to expect throughout the entire process, and any surprises that may come up, and just nipping those right then and there, it doesn't leave a lot of room for questions from either side. So it just gives a lot more clarity, and it allows for a more transparent transaction, really.
Yeah, I'll give you another great example that you guys are really astute about, and that is in a market where you're appreciating as fast as we are, you got to think about appraisers' challenges. And appraisers are just historians. So when they appraise a home, they have to go back based on history, not based on current or future information. So when you're appreciating rapidly and you have such a short supply with very, very low interest rates, sometimes the home sells, especially in a market, with that $300,000 to $400,000 mark, where there's just not a lot of inventory, and yet there's a lot of demand. A lot of people qualify for that locally, that price point. Well, one of the things we'll do is talk about either buying interest rates down even further, or maybe we'll talk about, instead of putting 20% down, put 10% down, and then keep some of the money for reserves in order to buy down the appraisal if the home doesn't appraise for what you had to pay to get the home in, let's say, a bidding environment where there's many people trying to buy the house. Often the home escalates quickly through what we call escalation addendums. Well, between our professionals at Keller Williams and the training and education that we do daily and weekly, combined with Prime Lending and Michael Maher and Sharon Crockett, we're able to work as a team to get you in a position strategically to have the best outcome and the most predictable outcome, which is always a plus in real estate, predictability. So I just want to applaud and acknowledge your guys' willingness to do that, Michael. It's not.
No, I appreciate that.
You know, we've been working together in co-hosting radio, and you know the other thing I wanted to give you kudos for is, you know, we're working on Fusion Homes. Well, when I first got you guys to go down there, you were jumped on the opportunity. You drove to Oregon and toured some factories with us. That was 2 years ago. And we're finally getting to a point where Fusion Homes is, in my opinion, is going to be a reality. I am still like a little pit bull on a pork chop. And I am working some pretty exciting affordable housing opportunities. And the fact that you're willing to do that says a lot to me. You're willing to, even though it was going to be 2 to 3 years maybe before we actually get this concept off the ground, which, you know, for people that haven't been entrepreneurs, getting something off the ground for it takes 2 or 3 years is pretty normal, right? But you guys just dropped everything and went down and learned about it. And so guess who's going to be the most knowledgeable about these affordable housing programs and product that we could possibly do in the near future? So I just want to give you guys applause for that because it's rare.
Yeah, and we're excited too. We know what your vision is, and we're excited to see it out till the end and see what it becomes.
Yeah. Well, you gotta be moving and shaking. You know, my dad passed away about a year ago, but he was really famous for saying, "Hey, it's hard to go forward when you're standing still, right?" And sometimes you gotta go left to go right eventually. And I'm happy and I'm thrilled about it. Interest rates are super low. What's your number, Michael? If somebody wants to get a hold of you guys.
Yeah, 425-760-8824.
All right. Well, Michael Maher and Prime Lending, thanks. Hey, you guys get outside in the post-land of COVID. Let's have some fun again. My new motto at Keller Williams is to hell with COVID. Let's go have some fun. Thanks for tuning in on this beautiful day in August.
It's a bright new day just came my way. I bought a new home, yeah, home sweet home. Oh, home sweet home. Keller Williams, I love my dream home. Yeah, I love my dream home. Home sweet home.